We're getting a little cozy here today. We've got some ladies that we're talking to, and it's sort of, when I'm out and about in the community, I see people I know, and then I learn something about them I didn't know, and that's what brought us here today, really. But Diane Lambert, thanks so
Yes.
much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this right because I asked Monica Vautour, right?
Good.
Yeah, I got the last name right. You said it's French, but you don't speak French.
No.
So where does it come from?
Well, you'd have to ask my husband's ancestors, I guess.
Right.
Originally, I'm sure it came from France, but they were basically from the East Coast, New Brunswick. And,
Oh, yeah, nice up there.
Yeah.
And where are you from?
Originally England, and
Okay.
moved to Canada when I was 6 months old.
Oh, wow.
And with my mom. She was a war bride.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that's an interesting story.
yeah.
Being a
Right.
war bride.
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't hear that term too often anymore, war
No,
bride. I
no,
guess,
they're not.
it was a while ago, but can you share a little bit about that?
Well, she met my dad. He was a Canadian soldier based in her hometown. And they met at a dance when she asked him for a cigarette.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, and so they got married there, and it was interesting because of course, it was during the war, so there were no extras.
Yeah.
And my relatives here in Canada sent the wedding dress over to Mom because you couldn't get a wedding dress.
Right.
And anyway, so then when Dad was sent back to Canada, Mom followed about 2 months later, and with me, and a ship full of war brides with kids going into a lot of unknown.
Right.
Basically, he was the only one she really knew
Yeah.
in the whole country of Canada. She's very courageous.
Yeah, that would be. So, what was that like for you then, growing up, like kind of knowing that story?
Well, it was interesting in that, Mom would tell us about what her life was like, when she was a child, and then during the war,
Yeah.
the scary times that they went through. And luckily, she lived in the northwest part of England, so although they had, blackouts, and it wasn't like living in London where they had a constant barrage of
Yeah.
bombs and that. But the first thing that when she got on the ship to come here, the first thing she had was white bread, and she never forgot it. White bread with butter.
Oh, wow.
It was such a big
It was a
deal
big deal,
for-
was it?
Big
deal.
treat.
Very
Yeah.
big deal. Yeah.
Wow. I think about that, and I'm 56, and I still, so I'm kind of, grew knowing about the war and stuff, learning about it. But now that was a long time ago, even
Yeah.
from that now too. So to hear
Yeah.
that really different, we really don't got it so darn bad, do we?
No,
No, we don't.
No, we don't. No, she always, she missed her family. They were a
Sure.
very close family,
Yeah.
and she missed them. But when she got sort of used to Canada, she said, "I'm Canadian." She said, "I love England, but I'm a Canadian."
Yeah. Was she a big follower of the Queen, though? still?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely,
So you
yes.
can never give up the Queen.
No. No.
That's great. Well, thanks for sharing that. We'll come back some more. Diane, what I know a little bit about you, but what can you tell us about?
Well, I was born and raised in Sarnia.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
nearly as exciting as that. But yeah, both my parents grew up in Point Edward.
Oh yeah.
And then when they married, moved to Sarnia. And that's where they raised us. I'm a family of 6 kids.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And where do you fit into the
I'm
line?
in the middle.
You're in the middle?
Yep.
Yeah. Did that work for you or against you?
Yeah. I think that worked against me.
Yeah.
I was the first girl.
Oh, okay.
So in my teen years, when my mom decided to go to work part-time just for some extra money, I was the one that was stuck in the kitchen making dinner and such
Right.
like that when she was not going to be home in time. Although my next sister down from us, we were 3 boys and 3 girls. She would take her turn too, but we always laughed because she never wanted to cook, and she would make exactly what Mom said and nothing extra.
Right.
If she didn't say do a vegetable, you didn't get a vegetable. You know?
And the brothers didn't cook?
Nope.
No.
Nope, they didn't.
Was
they,
that
no, they
why
really
not?
didn't.
Was
I
that
don't
because
know.
that was women were in the kitchen
I
kind of
guess
thing?
so. I guess
Yeah.
if my dad never cooked.
Yeah. I mean, I don't cook either, but that's just dangerous. I burn water, so that's why I don't cook.
Yeah, no, they never. Now, my, I shouldn't say my second oldest brother didn't cook because he left school early and he actually worked as a short order cook at the Gilwood and
Oh yeah.
a couple of other places in town. So I guess he did cook, but did he cook at home? Not that I remember.
No. Well, he cooked enough at work. He didn't want to cook at home.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, you know, I mean, I tell my son, I mean, hypocritically, I think a guy should learn how to cook.
Absolutely.
It's a good skill to have, and the ladies kind of like a guy who cooks. Huh?
They sure do.
Yeah, right. Oh, you can cook for me, honey. Yeah.
That's right.
What do you? So, I mean, you said 6 total. So, that's a busy house.
Yes.
How did that?
Yes,
What
well,
did
that's a
that
busy
teach
house.
you?
Well, we all had to. We all had our chores to do. Saturday morning is like, don't think you're going anywhere till you get your chores done.
Right.
You know, we all had things we had to do, and so we all had to work together, get along. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. My brother, before he passed away, the second oldest one again, he always laughed because when we lived on Woodland Ave, and my dad had built that house, so we had 2 big bedrooms upstairs and a bathroom in the middle. So I'd be coming out of my bedroom to go into the bathroom, and he'd be peeking out the door. He'd fly in there before me. Some rare language came out of me sometimes.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine that coming from you, Diane.
So meanwhile, my dad's downstairs laughing his butt off because I'm yelling at Chuck.
What did you said your mom went and worked part time, but what did your dad do?
Dad worked at Polysar,
right.
or whatever you want to call it. He worked there as a millwright, and then when he retired, when he was 50 or 55, I think it was 50, and he just passed away a year ago, December.
Oh wow.
And he was quite proud of the fact that he collected more pension than years he worked.
Oh, is that right? Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
Like, so how old was he when he passed? Then?
94.
Wow.
Yeah.
And retiring at 50, boy, you don't hear that a lot.
No, especially when you raised 6 kids.
Right.
But the opportunity was there, and he took it.
Yeah, that's great. And what did you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have 3 sisters. I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. So was that similar? Like where you had to do the cooking and the looking after them?
No, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and that was her job, and she was, she would show us how to do things, but that was her job. She did the meals and looked after the house, and so we learned a little bit.
What did the oldest sister have to take on?
Well, I mean, there were sometimes looking after the younger ones, but not too often. I guess going out, I was the first one to get a summer job, and I would encourage my younger sisters that the following year, you might want to go. Trying out new things, riding bikes,
right.
all that.
I ask these questions because like a lot of people will talk about how things are different today. I think there are some things that are different, but when it comes to family, you just look after each other, don't you? Do it. You don't want to do it. Nobody wants to do chores, right?
Yeah.
But,
I always say one of the worst things I had to do was I was the first one to date.
oh yeah.
So, oh my God, somebody else at the dinner table,
Right. You were the first one to date out of the older brothers too?
Yes.
How did that happen? They just didn't have girlfriends?
Yeah, I guess so.
So how, do you remember the moment then? that you had the first date over for dinner?
Yes, I do remember.
How did
Because
that
we had
go?
to kind of squeeze him in.
Yeah.
It's my husband, and so we had to kind of squeeze him in, beside me, because it was mom and dad on opposite ends of the table. The boys on one side, the girls on the other side,
Wow.
and the food was. I'm telling you way more than probably should. But
That's not covered in the book.
the food would start. Mom would bring the food out, put it at the table. The three boys would get their dinner, and my dad, and then my sister. I was in the middle, and then the other sister, and then by the time it got to mom, there wasn't a lot left.
Wow, that doesn't seem right.
I know, but that's the way it was, and so yeah, then add another person
Right.
squeeze them in there. So yeah, it was.
And this is your husband now?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jim
Jim.
Lambert.
How long have you guys been married?
52,
Wow.
3, 72, so I guess 54 years.
Sorry, Jim. Usually when I ask the guys how long you've been married, they know right away, or if they hesitate, we have to edit that part of it. But I'm leaving that
I'm
out.
just kind of up in my head.
But that's amazing though, right? This was that was your first date?
Yeah. Oh no, not the first
Not
date.
the
but,
first date.
But my family also knew him because we had lived across the street from them for 1 year while my dad was building our house.
Oh, okay.
So we got to know the Lambert family,
Right.
and then him and I started dating once when I turned 16.
Right. And mom and dad approved, obviously.
He was
Sorta?
a bit of a hellion.
Was he? Yeah. They kept an eye, slept with one eye.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jim, I'm watching you, fella.
Yeah.
I know Jim a little bit. I'd keep an eye on him too. Right? But that's worked out. That's great.
Yeah.
And you have children of your own?
So we had 2 daughters. Our oldest daughter, April, is married and has 2 sons. So April's married to Darcy, who's an optometrist here in town,
Oh, yeah,
Darcy
yeah.
Wench. And Carter and Brody are our grandsons. Carter is graduated from Waterloo
Wow.
and in economics and job hunting.
Yeah, right.
And Brody is second year at Western.
So quite a family
So,
that
yeah.
you've got going on there.
Yeah.
And yourself, do you have children?
Yes, I had 2 boys and a girl.
Okay.
You met Jeremy.
Yep.
He's our youngest. Julie, she's married to Marcel, and they have 3 children, a boy and 2 girls. Our oldest, Jason, he passed away a few years ago. Well, quite a few years ago now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's a busy household
Yeah.
because a few years ago we used to live across the road from each other, and they were thinking of moving, and so anyway, ultimately the 2 of us, 2 families, my husband and I, and our daughter and her family, bought a house, moved together, so it's a blended family.
Wow.
Yeah, which
Great.
it's worked out wonderfully.
You can hear it in your voice when you talked about it there, just how happy it makes you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
nice.
worked out well.
Now, how did you 2 ladies
Well,
come together?
my second child, Monica, who ironically is called Monica,
Right.
she was medically fragile.
Okay.
So she passed away when she was 13. But Monica can tell the story of where we met.
I was working in Emerge. I was a nurse there, and I heard this lady talking to the nurse and sort of explaining the reason they brought her daughter in, and I could tell just by her answers that she had a problem, and it sounded like it was maybe a similar problem to our son Jeremy. And so when the doctor left, I sort of threw the curtain back and said, "Hi, my name is Monica Vautour, and I have a son who's medically fragile. Why haven't we met before?"
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there's the connection, right, that I'm getting to. So there's the connection that I was looking for and getting to, I guess, is you both, we're here at the CCMF building. And for those who don't know, CCMF, what is that?
CCMF stands for Community Concerns for the Medically Fragile.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
define that a little more. If you can.
So Monica and I, after we first met, we got to know each other, and then we actually both joined a parent group, a mother's group actually, at Pathways. That was, I don't remember how long it ran for, but we would go to that mother's group, and then we brought it up that, well, really, the dads are being left out.
Right.
They've got issues too, and how to deal
Sure.
with our medically fragile children. So they gave us assigned a social worker to work with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we had a couple of
We had
other
a few
families.
meetings. Yeah, not very many.
And then everybody else kind of dissipated, and then the four of us thought, you know what, we don't need her. We'll just get together and play
Right.
cards and work out
Lean
our
on each other.
Yes,
Yes,
that's
lean
that's
on
it,
each other.
yes.
I would imagine too, just to interrupt that for a moment, you talk about the dads being left out. I mean, it's Mars and Venus. Like men would have different issues in dealing
Absolutely.
with the child than the mother would, right? So
absolutely.
similar things at the same time, and then I would think too, like as spouses, we're leaning on each other in some way too. On hey Jim, I got to do this, and hey Jim, you got to do this.
Yeah.
That'd be a
for
big
sure.
part of it.
For sure. It's a full-time job,
Sure, and then some.
and then
Yeah,
some.
then some.
That's right.
I think I'm going to ask a couple of maybe hard personal questions here, but I think they're important. For example, like you say, like it's a full-time job, and then some. Most people, I'm pregnant and I'm carrying, and there's that excitement that goes along.
That's right.
And then maybe, like, did you find out during pregnancies that there was something, or
No.
Yeah.
no,
So
no.
then there's that, and you're expecting this exciting, joyous life.
Yeah,
And then the challenge shows up.
it is. Yeah.
And then, is there any guilt that comes with that? And feeling like the guilt of, did I do something wrong to cause this? Or can I do this? Like all of that
Oh,
stuff.
there was, can I do this?
I mean,
was
because can I
certainly-
do this
Yeah,
already
can-
exists as
yeah.
a first-time parent. Never
Yeah.
mind the
Yeah.
challenge. Am I
Yeah.
asking that right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just overwhelming
Sure,
when it finally hits. Like, we didn't know, of course, initially that there was a problem,
Right.
other than he was a very irritable baby. And it wasn't until he was about 9 months old that we got the diagnosis that he had cerebral palsy
Right.
as the base problem. And so you do have to lean on others, and that can be really hard if you're not, someone who maybe has a close friend who you can talk to,
Right. Or
that.
family.
Or family,
they're not
absolutely.
around.
What would we do without our families?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what you leaned. Were you both able to have that advantage to lean on family for help?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I did too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, we didn't find out with our daughter, Monica, until she was about 5 months old. She appeared to be developing normally. We went on a camping trip down to Tennessee with another couple and our other, our daughter and their older daughter. And she was in like a bunk bed above us in the trailer, and I heard this gurgling sound, and so I got her down, and to me it looked like she was choking. Well, she was actually having a seizure, but didn't know that at the time. And I can remember Jim flopping her over his arm and getting her out the door, and like trying to thinking something is lodged in there or
right.
something.
Well, that's
but
a natural reaction.
Sure.
I had no idea what's going on, but a few minutes later she comes out of it. So once we got home, we went to our pediatrician, and he said, well, sounds like maybe SIDS, and you just happened to be there. So I was like, okay, well, lucky we were there.
Right.
And then she started to, her progress wasn't going anymore. Like she could never sit up without being propped up, and so then she started to recede. And then the next time I saw her take a seizure, I basically threw her in the car and raced over to the hospital. And of course, by the time we get into emerge,
Seizures
she's
over.
fine.
Yeah.
You know, so I plead my case. They put her into children's ward, and then finally a nurse saw her take a seizure. But in the meantime, she was taking petit mal. That was a grand mal seizure. But in the meantime, she was taking petit mal seizures because she would just kind of look off, and and you'd be going, Monica, Monica, and she would just all of a sudden come back. But that was a petit mal seizure. But we didn't know that for a long time.
So I can relate to a bit of your story. I had epilepsy. It was discovered in me when I was 5 years old. And that was, and I'm going to guess when you had Monica, the medical world didn't know really about epilepsy. I had a friend who had Tourette syndrome too.
Oh my goodness!
Woo! Right?
Yeah,
and nobody understood
No.
it. And I had the petit mal and I had the grand mal seizures too. And that was, I was born in '69, so do the math, like 70 something when I'm having these grand mal seizures, and people are thinking I'm just looking for attention or whatever the case. Did you have to? Was there any of that? Like, did the medical world kind of go, we don't know what's going on? Did you have to do any convincing?
Well, prior to the nurse seeing her take a seizure, yes, they were looking at me like, right. And, and she's got blue around her lips and, that kind of stuff in there.
Sorry, go ahead.
But you can just kind of tell that, they're going,
They were looking at you like
another mother like this,
you're not feeding them right, or you're something, or I don't know.
Yeah, I think overreacting.
Overreacting, sure.
Is I think what they were thinking.
The first time Jeremy had a seizure, we were in the hospital. He had had some surgery, and he had a seizure. And we were in a sitting room, and I took him back to the nurse, and I said, he's just had a grand mal seizure. And so I told her the symptoms, and doctor came to check him out and said, oh no. I said, I've been an emerge nurse for 15 years. I know what a grand mal seizure. Didn't matter. They weren't convinced that that's what he had.
Yeah. Yeah. So that just adds to the already existing challenges that you're dealing with, and then you're kind of like, nobody's listening to me. Darn it! I'm sure you had your frustrating moments. And speaking of the frustrating moments, I mean, I imagine there's a lot that comes along, and that you go, I don't know how to deal with this, maybe initially, but then you learn to adapt and push through, and I'm guessing that's kind of like all the leaning on each other, and then coming into the groups, and then now here we have CCMF. Right? Like, talk a little bit more about where we're sitting.
Well, this facility is called Standing Oaks, and it was the driving force, I think, of our organization, which is CCMF, to have this facility built. Once our kids were about 15, no.
Well,
it was when
Monica died in 1990, so it was prior to that.
Prior to
it was
that.
about 1989 or so that we got talking about the fact that how long can we do this for? Because Monica was still with us. And so just in conversation, it was like, so we got to think about what's going to happen 10 years down the road, or 50, 20 years down the road, and who's going to be looking after them. So the two of us and our husbands started talking about, we need to look around and see what's available for us down the road. Wow.
How'd that go?
So, well, there was nothing around here.
Yeah.
There was nothing in the Sarnia-Lambton area. So we decided, we got Lisa Kern was a social worker, and she got involved with us. Really can't remember who designated her, but anyway, she was just a young social worker, and so we told her we wanted to find out about other group homes and go and visit them and see if they're what we would like to have. And so we went on a road trip, and, and we went to Guelph first of all, and went to a home. It was like a farmhouse that people
They had renovated it.
yeah,
And
and they were paid through Children's Aid Society.
that's right.
Oh, okay.
And so it was fine.
They had a lot of services coming into the house.
That's right.
So that the clients, the residents, didn't have to go out for lab
Oh, I
work
see,
or
right.
whatever, the
Right.
doctor or
Yeah.
whatever. So there were some very
Oh, yeah,
good
right, I
positive
suppose.
stuff there.
Yeah.
So then we went to was it Hamilton next? Hamilton next. So that was like, as Monica says, that was from the sublime to the ridiculous.
Oh,
Because it was called the Mac House, and it was like an old wartime house or something. It was 2 stories, and all. What you remember is always so funny, but I can remember this woman coming down the stairs with some flowing gown on or something, and I'm so glad you're here. I'm gonna love it when you have your children here. And it's like, okay, well, let's see what you got.
right.
And you walked into the living room, and all it was cribs. There was
Sounds like Orphan Annie.
yeah, sort of. Yeah, and
Not good.
there wasn't a rocking chair.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There
No music.
no
playing.
music, nothing. And we looked around, and we very quickly went,
See ya.
let's get out of here. But she insisted we go upstairs, and she was telling us that the house next door was also part of this Mac house.
Okay.
And we didn't go over there because we saw enough. And but she insisted on serving tea, and she had all these porcelain dolls. The funny things you remember, porcelain dolls everywhere that she was so proud of. Not the kids downstairs
Yeah, yeah.
that are in the
Was
in
the
the
tea
cribs. As we're exiting, we're walking down the sidewalk, and she's going, "Well, I can't wait to hear from you when you're gonna bring your kids here." And we went, "That'll be never."
Yeah,
We
wow.
just kept on walking. But we did. We made another road trip with some other families that had joined CCMF at that point. And we went to Safe Haven in Vaughan. Aurora, Vaughan.
Near Toronto.
Toronto,
Okay.
anyway. And that was exactly what we wanted. They mirrored what we wanted. They mirrored our philosophy of, we wanted a home-like environment, and they were very helpful. They gave us all their policies and helped
So a
us.
sigh of relief sort of came
Oh,
across you,
yes,
I'm sure.
Very much.
This is what we want. Now, how do we get it?
Right.
And they were helpful in that and how they got to where they were, and very supportive of us and wanting to help us achieve our goal of
Oh,
the
it's a busy place around here.
Wow,
and
certainly
it
is.
can be.
So well, you kind of touched their money. Got to have money.
Yeah.
Everything needs that money,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
right? So then there's the next. You've got the
That's the next.
policies and the thoughts and how you want this to look, and no porcelain dolls.
Yeah, no more. So yeah, we put together some proposals. One of the first proposals we actually made at the request of Ernie Redden. Do you remember that name?
I remember
From
the name Redden.
Sarnia General Hospital.
Oh, yeah,
he was
yeah,
the
yeah.
executive director. He really sympathized with these our families, and so he said, I think we should do a proposal where the group home would be a satellite of Sarnia General Hospital.
Okay.
And our first vision was to have nursing staff, all nursing staff and then respiratory tech and all this kind of stuff on hand. And anyway, that proposal went off to the Ministry of Health and came back with a resounding no.
Okay. Well, you got to shoot high.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I imagine there was a lot of learning along the way, though, dealing with the medical world for one, just on a one-to-one, and now you're dealing with it like Ministry of Health and all these to-be powers to be,
Yes.
I guess, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
This was quite a learning experience.
Oh, we sent in proposals all the time. When Ministry of Health said no, they said, send it to Ministry of Community and Social Services. Okay, so we send it off to them. You'd wait months before
Right.
you'd get a response, and then it'd be, no, send it to Ministry of Health Long-Term Care.
And you're mailing
And-
this. This is
oh yeah,
there's no
this is
technology.
no,
to
there's no
pull this
computer or
off.
anything like that.
Yeah.
And all of this is prepared on my
Typewriter?
typewriter.
Yeah.
That I was a legal secretary, so it was
Oh, yeah.
in the office at night putting all this together, and many hours were spent
Frustrating.
at that typewriter.
Yeah, well, you would send a proposal in to, say, Ministry of Health, and they'd say, well, no, we think it should be Comstock. We forwarded your proposal. So somebody has a stack of, because we sent it to Health and Community and Social Services and Children's Services and
Long-term.
anybody.
Whoever would
Long-term
listen.
care, anybody. Well, even,
Yeah.
we just sent them up, and
So our turning point was we went to what was then called the Lambton
District
Health
Health
Council. Yeah, Lambton District Health Council. And Allison Mann was sitting on that. And she said to us, I think you need to partner with a service provider, a well-known service provider in Ontario. Because right now, you're just a group of parents that are asking for a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And how is this going to work over obviously.
No credibility attached
Yeah,
to it, I
yeah.
guess. Fair,
So-
fair, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
Where's the money going?
So her suggestion was Ontario March of Dimes. So
Oh, yeah.
that is who we partnered with, and so we have like a four-way partnership. CCMF, Ontario March of Dimes, Rotary. The land that this home sits on is Rotary property
Yeah.
that they have leased to us for 99 years. And then we sublet it to Ontario March of Dimes. So it's Ontario March of Dimes nonprofit
Housing Corporation.
housing corporation.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so all these entities. But it's funny because when we during our process of trying to get money, somebody said to us, this will take you at least 10 years. And I can remember saying, well, it sure as hell hadn't better take 10 years. Well, it did.
It took 14 years, I think,
Wow.
from start to finish.
So, yeah, so this home is actually owned by Ontario March of Dimes, but it's CCMS vision.
Yeah.
It's our hard work, and we put lots of money into it
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah, and we do, we have really good rapport with March of Dimes, with the
Yeah.
staff, and they'll ask our advice on things, and they listen to us, and
Well,
so it's a good combination.
Yeah. It makes sense that a person would do that. Say, well, you're the one dealing with the stuff, so let's go ask the people dealing with the stuff what they think. It doesn't always go that way.
No.
Sometimes people go, well, this is how it's going to be done, and they don't really know what they're talking
Yeah,
about.
well,
So
there were a few issues.
yeah. Well, it would be boring otherwise, I guess. But that's all part of it, right? And that's
Yes.
part of I guess you growing as parents and growing as dealing with government. That's always fun.
Advocates, a lot of
Yeah.
advocacy.
But there was really no quit. That just wasn't an option.
No, we just wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
None of the group. It's not just us. It's the Ashdown family and the Mannion family and scoutings, and
Yeah.
there's been a lot of the families that have all come together right from the beginning. Some of us, most of us, right from the beginning, and yeah, we'd get a no, and we'd just like pivot. Okay, let's try
Right.
this, and
It's like Andy Dufresne in the Shawshank Redemption, and he kept writing the letters
yes,
wanting a library, and then he started writing 2 a week, and then finally they just said here.
Yeah.
So
stop bugging us.
persistency, right? I guess
Exactly.
is a big
That's-
part of it.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, I guess when your heart's attached to it,
Yeah.
Oh,
that
absolutely.
that keeps you going. And now in this, I didn't even know about this facility. I think I'd heard rumbles, but I didn't quite know about it. So I'm glad that this has come about, that we're here.
So yeah, it opened in 2004.
Yeah, right.
So we're
And then
going strong.
how long has our addition been? 3 years? About 3
About
years.
that, yeah.
And then so now, okay, so you get the money, but now you got to keep the money coming in to look after things.
Well,
right.
that's the beauty of it being with March of Dimes.
Right,
That's their responsibility
right.
to keep the operating dollars going.
And it's
But-
Ministry of Health
Okay.
is the funding.
All right.
Yeah.
So we keep them
Long-term
happy.
care. Yeah.
And then, but is there any fundraising that you do? Do you do any fundraising?
Oh, CCMF does fundraising
Yeah.
all the time, and we have put a lot into Standing Oaks, whether it's the road that you drove down to get onto this property.
Yeah.
It had ended right at the end of
Oh,
Fairwinds,
okay, I
right?
see.
So we paid for that road to be extended with all the sewage and all the fun stuff, and so all the tracking in all the rooms was purchased by CCMF, and I can't even tell you everything, but
But there's ongoing things.
ongoing
and you still,
things.
You don't just go, give us money, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
still put your effort into it.
so we actually, I'm still on the board. I'm actually the president
Okay.
right now of CCMF, and so for years, all of our fundraising efforts went into Standing Oaks, but Standing Oaks is in a pretty good place, and so we are looking to. We want to approach the families still in the community that still have their medically fragile child at home, to see how we can help them.
Right.
There's about 12 families that,
Okay.
that we're aware of, because
Right.
the whole confidentiality thing is
Yeah, right,
such an
right.
issue to try and find that out.
I'm sure. And some
Who's
people,
there, and-
everybody's different. Maybe they just
Yeah.
want to go, you know what, I'm
Yeah.
good, leave
Yeah,
me alone.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've extended some of the activities that we have with the residents of Standing Oaks out to the our outreach families, and we'll have a big party with them, and they take part in that, and yeah, so we're still fundraising, and now the next issue I think is going to be replacing our wheelchair accessible van.
All right.
So
Well, we'll put
that's
something out
coming.
there too. I'm sure people can donate if they want, right?
Well, that would
So
be,
we'll
it's
put a
always
website
lovely.
up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful that you're sharing what you're sharing, because I think that more people need to understand, because not everybody's going through or has gone through, those challenges with a child, and then I guess I could really just listen to you gals longer, but I want to talk about this.
Oh yeah, the
This
book.
Oh, the book, right? This Journey to a Dream, a story of determination. And based on what you're telling me already, that sounds like quite the appropriate title. Monica, let's start with you on what can people read in this book.
Well, in addition to explaining that we wanted to do this because we're getting up there in years, and we didn't want to lose all of the information that we had about how we did this.
Right.
And so we thought, okay, let's sit
Pass
down
it
and
on.
pass it
write a
on.
book.
So we started 2 years, no, and
2022, we figure.
that's
Oh,
right.
wow.
And it took us about 2 years to get it
Another
all
journey in
together.
itself.
Yeah. We want people to know how we accomplished it, and take out from that what you want. If there's something that you think might help, use it.
Right.
We had listed our fundraising activities, give people ideas, contacts that we've made, the process that we went through, what a place like this could be, because each of the families, like we had siblings write their experience with having a medically fragile child at home, what they went through. That's a whole different, mom, dad. Then you've got the siblings to deal with.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a lot of ideas and our experience, and hopefully can help somebody else that's going through this. You bring a baby home from the hospital with all these wonderful ideas
Yeah.
of what life is going to be like, and at some point you're hit with reality, and then you think, okay, well, I can tough it out, I can manage this, but then you hit that brick wall, and that's when you realize, oh gosh, now what do I do? Hopefully something like this would get people thinking about the future and start to plan for their future, and not be caught in the crisis that we, hopefully prevented. I think through the formation of CCMF and the idea we were going to get something built, we had a destination. We kind of knew how things would turn out to some extent.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we did it.
The journey isn't always predictable, though.
No.
The path and how you get there. It's kind of like when we're young, we plan a life.
Yeah,
This is how I'm getting. How did that go?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Then you hit
And
that
then-
wall and
Right.
pivot.
Well, you get a curved ball, and sometimes the ball hits you in the head.
Yeah.
And then Diane, with you, losing a child at a really young age. I mean,
Yeah, like she passed away before we,
since
we
you're
started
13,
talking about it in 1989. She died in 1990 when she was 13, and then this home didn't open till 2004. So she never even got to be a part of this. This room actually is dedicated to Monica. There's a plaque on the outside of that door.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so yeah, it's just been a passion of mine just to see where this is all going, and helping out families. And
what have you, Monica talked about her idea on the book. Can you expand on why you wanted us to
well, a lot of it was to preserve the history of CCMF. And you would have laughed if you saw us sometimes when we sat at my computer at home, and was like, okay, well, to begin with, how do we start?
What's the first page look like?
You know what? I got a hold of someone that I know that writes books.
Okay.
She lives in Brantford area, and I told her that this is what we were planning on doing, but we have absolutely no idea how to go about it. And
Please help.
she said, just start writing.
Yeah.
And she said, it'll all come to you when you get it all done. Send it to me, and I'll tell you next steps. And so one of the challenges was the fact that Monica's name is Monica and my daughter's name is Monica.
Right.
So
There's
it's
some
like
confusion in the storytelling. Yeah, I suppose.
so whenever we talk about this Monica is Monica V, and
Right.
then Monica. So and then the other thing was tense. Present tense, past tense, because we're talking about the past tense.
So you had to
but-
learn some grammar?
Well, I feel I'm pretty good at grammar, but it's really
would
hard.
second that.
It's really hard to.
Consistency.
One paragraph is a. Anyway, we were told not to worry about it, and we had people that read the book before we published and said, I didn't find that an issue at all. So I guess we mastered that.
You don't think about it until you go to write a book. You don't think about it until you go to build a home. You don't, you don't think about all that stuff. The language. I mean, I've thought of writing a book, and same thing. Where do you start? And you don't necessarily write it in the order that it's going to be
Absolutely
read. You just
not.
start writing
Yeah.
down, and it's fortunate that you had someone that you knew that you could lean on
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that support. And I suppose, like, you know, like you're similar, but you're two different personalities that are going into this book too. Were there any arguments along the way, ladies, of no, we're not doing
No,
that,
no.
or no?
No, it was more, do you remember when we did this?
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I
And
think it was.
So if we couldn't find that, if we could not figure it out, then we'd go to Dave Ashdown. It's like, Dave, do you remember when this happened?
yeah.
And you know, and our husbands is like, okay, what year was it that we took that road trip and ended up totaling
yeah,
a
yeah.
Mott's van?
Brand new.
Totaled it. Totaled it. We're coming out of
Around Ancaster. I think.
Ancaster, yes, and Jim was driving, and
Oh, it's Jim's fault.
yeah, it's not Jim's
No,
fault.
I think
This Crown Victoria was coming around the bend, and the guy is like talking to his wife like this, and Jim's going, "Everybody brace because we're gonna get hit." We spun around. We were
Oh, wow.
almost flipped, and anyway, totaled this brand new van that Manly Motts had lent us.
Well, thank goodness
Anyway.
for insurance.
stories like that all
Well-
came out.
And is that in this book?
Oh, yeah.
I think that story is.
So, you know, I look in here and I see 119 pages. I would think one of the difficult things, and I'm sure it happens, I always think about a movie too, is not what to put in, but what to leave out.
Yeah.
No,
Because
that's
you're
a
limited
big issue.
space and
Yes.
time. Like this is it's a casual read. It's not
Yeah.
a hard read, but
No.
there's a story to it. And you know, we're going to do an hour of telling the story. I could read, like, how did you get through that and going, oh, I really want that story in there, but it's not relevant. Like, how do you edit that, I guess?
Well, I think we both realized that we could write 5 of these just on our story.
Okay,
And Diane
yeah.
could do the same.
Yeah.
So it just kind of came automatic. We realized that, you know, we didn't want an encyclopedia. We had to make it, keep it an easy read,
Yeah.
so that people would pick up on it and take something from it.
And
But
we put a
kind of edited each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And we put a glossary in there so that because there's different terms, you know, medical terms that people
Oh, right.
maybe wouldn't know
Like,
and that we referred to. So
Yeah, I
you
didn't
know,
go to medical school.
in our resources, anytime we pulled some information from someplace, like there was a doctor. What was his name, Monica?
Fruin?
Dr. Fruin, yes. Dr. Tim Fruin. This is how we.
See how they
this
did
is
that?
how we did
What
it.
was his name? Fruin?
Exactly.
She just knew.
Dr. Tim Fruin, who was a pediatric doctor in London, and he did this study just about the time that we were starting to form CCMF, and it was all about medically fragile children and getting into technology, and the fact that nowadays the medical field is keeping these children alive more than they used to.
Like longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
And so the society therefore has a responsibility.
Right.
They're going to keep them alive. Society can't abandon them.
Right.
You know, and so that was very helpful when we were doing our, you know, our different proposals for the group home.
All right. Is somebody trying to get in?
hi, Rachel.
Rachel's peeking at us here, making sure that we're probably behaving, or she's just really curious as what's going on here.
That's all right.
You talk about the abandonment, though, like their society abandoning, and that you know, if we go way back in history, there was a time it was like we don't know how to deal with, or that this child isn't
Hide
normal.
them.
Just put them over there
in an institution.
and nobody knows about it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That, did you deal with any of that in the beginning? Like when you first discovered, like, okay, my child really has special needs. Was there anybody that I gotta be honest? I think some people are uncomfortable.
Oh, they
And
are.
you come around and, you know, there's different noises being made. And I could even compare it to, I remember being a young teenager and my dad taking me to go visit my grandmother, who was really old and in a nursing home and didn't have it all going, making noises. And that's just uncomfortable for people.
Yeah.
Are we getting better at that?
Oh, I
think
definitely think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good.
And I think a lot of it too is, you know, that resident or individuals like the group that live here can get out into the community more
Yeah.
and people can see that, you know, they're not the big
They're not
monster.
scary.
They're not so scary.
Yeah.
You know, they see this child laughing.
Very creative,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh yeah,
Is
they
it-
can be very creative.
right?
The
I say that because I have some posters at home that were made that I bought years ago, like pre-COVID, from an event, and made out of unicorn spit, I think it was called. You ever heard of that?
No.
Very colorful, and it was made by CCMF. And,
really.
I'll have to show them to you.
Yeah,
'cause,
for
you know,
sure,
I remember buying them and going, I think that's what it was, unicorn something. But anyway,
funny.
and they were made by some folks here. At
Yeah,
CCMF.
we have a hands-on art program
Yeah.
here, and so that runs pretty well every week, every Friday. Tracy Tobin is our art director, and she does a great job. And then we also have a music program and a massage therapy program.
Oh wow! I would think the music. I really love music. My mother was very musical, so I was brought up with that. So was my dad, and I would think that music would be a great connector.
Absolutely.
You walk into this place and it's very quiet right now.
Yeah.
Usually, you know, there's music in the living room
Oh,
and the TV's on, and there's a group there, and some are in the multi-purpose room, and the snoozling room, and like, yes, that's
It's a
very
home.
important. It's absolutely
It's a home. It's a house.
Yeah.
You had mentioned about the sort of the medical community about, you know, just put them away, you know, out of sight.
Yeah.
I think that society, like in my experience, it was more the community. I've never had a physician say to me, you should do this.
Right.
But I had people in the community say it,
So you shouldn't do this?
say you should.
Oh, you should do
Yeah,
this. Yeah,
you
yeah.
should do. So it has been a learning curve for them too,
Right.
to actually even, you know, be at an event that some of these individuals are attending. Because at one time they
Right.
wouldn't have.
So, well, that's an improvement. Then we're
Yeah,
getting better.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So the music
so.
and the art are pretty obvious connectors. I would think that touch, touch would be another. You know,
Very, yeah.
I mean, I'm a huggy guy. Not everybody likes to hug, but everybody needs a hug. Everybody needs a little just pat on the back. A good job. I saw you doing that earlier. You were playing with the ball with the one gal out there,
Yeah,
and
Rachel.
it just interaction alone would
Yeah.
be, I think, important.
Well, that's one of the reasons that we have the massage therapy program.
Yeah, that's what I was leading
And they,
to. Yeah.
let me tell you, Jeremy has a massage. At the end of that, he is a wet noodle, and normally he's very, very rigid and
Oh,
stiff.
yeah, okay.
And he,
Who doesn't like a good massage?
Yeah, no kidding.
Favorite part of my gym day, let me tell you.
Yeah.
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 So these were important for obvious reasons that were brought in,
Yeah.
and I haven't been able to get through the book. I apologize, but I will. But I would imagine there's some vulnerability in here too. Like when you're sharing yourselves in here,
Yeah.
there's, you know, I mean, was that important to you to have in this book too?
I think, you know, I've never been embarrassed or
Right.
afraid to talk about what we've gone through. Diane's the same,
Yeah.
you know, and what about our children. But I think that, you know, not everybody's like that, and you know, they do keep it very quiet and sheltered. But yeah, you leave yourself open
Yeah.
to.
Well, I mean, you talk about the loss of a child. I mean, just under normal if I can use that word, circumstances, nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to ask, and then under extreme circumstances, it's even different.
I think having these folks get out into the community, like for example, just out at the mall and walking around.
Yep.
Kids are wonderful because they'll just watch. You can see the questions going on in their mind. And so we, are very open to kids coming up and say, what's the problem? Why is he in a wheelchair? That sort of thing. Because they're going to be seeing them in the schools because they now go to school. Where years ago, they never that was one of my biggest fears when I realized that Jeremy he has a tracheostomy. And I thought, that's it, he won't be allowed to go into school.
Yeah.
And it was there. We attended school, but years prior to that, that would never have happened.
Yeah.
No.
So
I can remember those times too, like, so I was 10 in 79, to give you a picture, seeing somebody in a wheelchair, and my mother, and she was a wonderful lady, don't get me wrong, but said, David, just
Don't look.
don't look, and just keep going.
Yeah.
And I, as a child, as an adult, but as a child, I want to know,
Yeah,
because that doesn't
exactly.
look right to me.
That's
Why
right.
can't I?
Yeah.
I can walk and they can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so that's the education piece, I guess, to it is. Are we doing that in the schools? Are we sharing in the schools at a young age?
Well, they have, I'm not exactly sure what they have now, but it's like special classes
Yeah.
for the more involved disabilities,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Okay.
We did when our kids were there. They were in like
At
a special
Bridgeview.
at Bridgeview
Oh,
and
yeah, right.
at New Hope. That's where the school started, really, at New Hope, and then went to Bridgeview. And then I know that at St. Pat's they have a special classes.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know
I'm
that.
sure they would at other schools.
And I say,
But they get,
I when I said to you, I didn't even know about the building. I knew about CCMF because I'd seen them at where I bought my unicorn things was like it was at DeGroots. It was a big fundraiser or something one time years ago. You're determined you're going to see those now. But what does unicorn spit look like?
Yeah, well,
It's very colorful. But
Sparkly.
I guess it was leading back to in the community being connected, just like anybody else.
Yeah.
Really.
Exactly.
My chorus always comes to Standing Oaks at Christmas time and performs for the residents, and I always chuckle before we come in and say to any of our new members, have you been to Standing Oaks before? Because be prepared, you'll hear a lot of vocal things going on while we're singing and everything. Don't worry about it. They're just enjoying it. Just keep singing. And it's their favorite place to come to sing, because there's one young lady here, Avery, who's very vocal.
Oh, yeah,
And
okay.
she is just like screaming at the top of her lungs.
Enjoying it so much.
Yeah, enjoying it. Yeah. So it's always fun to do that, and they get other groups in as well all the time that come and entertain them.
So maybe
that's
open
fun.
to some other groups if there's people watching that would say, hey, that sounds
Absolutely.
like we could do something there.
Yeah.
And the book, where's this available? How do
So
people
the
get
book is available at the Bookkeeper,
Okay.
and it's also available now at Dog Eat Dog.
Oh, yeah.
And there's also a digital version of it available on Amazon.
Okay.
But if you go on Amazon, if you typed in Journey to a Dream, you'll get a million journeys. Type in one of our names and
Okay.
it'll pop right up.
I'll find the link and we'll post it in the comments so that
Okay, that'd be
people can
awesome.
look directly, and we'll this at some point will be on your TV Sarnia as well, so
Yeah.
we'll make sure we put
Wonderful.
this up on the screen. And I'm grateful that we saw you at the Moose Lodge
Yep.
serving breakfast for CCMF, which is
right.
wonderful. Moose Lodge, great breakfast in theirs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was our
And-
first time there. So.
Yeah, and I hadn't been in a couple of months. We used to go all the time. And there's Diane, and then what's this book? You wrote a book? What are you talking? Who's Monica? And then the conversation went. And when I left, I said, we need to just have you on the show and talk
Yeah,
about that,
that's
because I
awesome.
like a good book. And I was alluding to earlier, I knew about CCMF, but I didn't know about this building. And I guess it's one of those things that until it happens to you,
Yeah. Very
it's kind of
much.
like Alzheimer's. My dad had Alzheimer's. I didn't know much about the Alzheimer's
Right.
Society until it happens to you.
Personal connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
what would you say to someone who's maybe watching, that if they're one of those that are quiet but are having the struggles with a medically fragile child, what would you say to them?
I would encourage them to contact CCMF, and you can check out our website and see what kind of services we do provide, and get in touch with us, and we have a support and needs committee
Okay.
that could meet with them and see what we could do to help them.
Okay. Anything you want to add?
I was just going to say we can sort of connect a parent to a parent
Right.
if that's what they're looking for. It's just someone who might have traveled that road.
Right. And I guess in the beginning, it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
Let's just have a
Absolutely.
conversation, see if there's a fit, what we can do. Because I got a feeling that there's a lot of people out there that need the help that maybe aren't even aware. I mean, that's half of it here as well.
Yeah.
Is there a second book in the future?
No.
No. You got the one. That's all you're getting, folks. We're not going through that again.
We might revise this and a little bit more to it, but not a whole
Make this a
lot.
limited edition version too. I can imagine, because I know you pretty well with your giggles and laughs and whatever. And I can tell the two of you. I'm sure a lot of giggles and laughs and maybe even some tears were
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we've done
were
that.
There we go.
shared, and but a friendship has grown even more out of this, right?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we've been friends since be about 79, I
Wow.
would think, somewhere 79,
Yeah,
maybe
Monica
80.
was born in 70. Yeah, both of them were born in 77.
Yeah,
Jeremy
yeah.
and Monica are a month apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're busy, I know. Like you're with the
Yeah.
chorus.
Yeah, Seaway Sounds Chorus, and plus I'm with the Good Times Ukulele Band
Like
Club.
when does
Club.
Jim get to see you?
and CCMF.
Right,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
you go. And what about you? Do you do anything else besides?
Yeah, I volunteer for St. Vincent de Paul, the food
Oh, yeah.
bank, and help out with a couple of bingos for CCMF and St. Vincent de Paul, and
Nice.
run
Grandchildren around.
grandkids. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Your
That's a
taxi.
big, that's a
Yeah.
big part of it. But they're all coming to an age where they're going to be driving. So
Right, right. They start driving you around.
Yes.
That'd be
yes.
different.
Driving
right?
Miss Monica.
Yeah.
Ladies, I'm so glad we ran into each other because while I've been looking forward to it too, I had a feeling it would be a pretty good conversation. But I know it's a very personal one, so I thank you both for giving me your
You're
time
very
here.
welcome.
Thank you for the opportunity.
yeah, you're welcome. We're going to put some stuff up on the screen so you can check out their website and maybe buy their book as well. If you're watching on social media, there'll be comments down below. I'm going to get a little bit of a tour here now, and I thank you all for watching. You know what I'm going to say. On social media, click the like, click the love button, and share this so we can share their story. And if you're watching on your TV Sarnia, make sure you tell somebody about this. They might be playing it again down the road. But as always, that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. See you next time right here in the show. Bye for now.